everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV, where today we are continuing the main story and choosing our grand company. Running the minion roulette today for this week, we have the flying airship. Been a bit since we've seen you. And as we're getting started today, we're actually far enough now that I can elaborate on why I hate Lalafels, because I keep saying I hate Lalafels, and the answer is, I don't actually hate Lalafels, it's just kind of funny. So specifically, I do have some issues with Lalafels, but like not actual issues, if that makes sense. Basically I have two problems with Lalafels. One is they are effectively the exact same archetype as Nopon in Xenoblade, so I hate them in the same way that I hate Nopon, which is, I don't, but they represent a type of person in real life who, just kind of that greedy asshole who will manipulate people into giving them money. This is an archetype I specifically see out of a few bits of Japanese media. I've mostly seen it in Final Fantasy XIV and Xenoblade. I'm curious if that is a trope or something, the small, cute person who uses their cuteness to hide the fact that they are a greedy motherfucker. I'm curious if that's a trope or anything, but yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of greedy people. And Lalafell are, for the most part, associated with Ul'dah, and most of the Lalafell that are relevant to the main story end up being greedy assholes. So, you know, I don't hate Lalafell, it's more I hate Ul'dah, and they kind of represent the archetype that Ul'dah is based on, for the most part. Not all Lalafells, of course. That's just kind of the way they get used in the story. The other big issue I have with them is when I was first starting to play the game, I had some bad run-ins with specifically really bad Lalafell players, with one incident that stands out in my mind. I had just teleported into Gridania via the Aetheryte, and a Lalafell was doing ERP, of a specific type of ERP that involves them specifically being a Lalafell. And I'm not going to elaborate, you can probably guess, and your worst guess is probably correct. And you know what? The issue that came up was specifically they were trying to involve other players. Specifically, they came up to me and my partner and tried to deliberately involve us. And it was uncomfortable, like even setting aside the very uncomfortable content they were role-playing, which I am aware of very specific circumstances in which that type of roleplay is understandable, but for the most part, from an outside perspective, it looks like something really bad. So yeah, no, just bad initial impression as I got started with the game, and then the game actually treats them as the same archetype as Xenoblade Nopon, and just Lalafell kind of got a bad rap for me when I first started the game, and that's unfortunate because there's Lalafell are fine. They're basically just the Nopon. It was just really unfortunate. Anyways, enough of my rambling. Let's pick our grand company. So, who are we going to go with? We can go with the Storm and the Maelstrom and join the Limsolominsa's grand company. We can join the Immortal Flames, part of Ul'dah. Or we can join the Order of the Twin Serpent? Order of the Twin Adder, which are called serpents. Oh my god. Brain, how are you failing this badly? And that will be the Gridania Grand Company. I hate Ul'dah. So the flames are out. I'm sorry, Immortal Flames. We do have the option to switch Grand Companies later, so it's not too big of a deal. Between Gridania and the Maelstrom in Limsolominsa, which do I hate the least? Honestly, all of the city-states have their own issues, but I think Gridania has the least explicitly bad politics, at least at this point in the game. So, Twin Adder it is. I take it the Elder Seedseer's words have touched your heart. What have you resolved to my god, I cannot read today. Have you resolved to entwine your destiny with that of the Twin Adder? I have indeed. You have chosen wisely, my friend. The Elder Seedseer will be overjoyed. Without further ado, let us speak of practical matters. In order to complete the enrollment procedure, you must report to our headquarters in Gridania, the Adder's Nest. Alright, well let's do it. The building you seek stands in the southern part of the city, now called New Gridania. Give your name to the personnel officer there, and he will guide you through the formalities. I have no doubt that your deeds will bring great honor to our order. When next we meet in Gridania, I shall be proud to call you sister. Yeah, Ul'dah is a bunch of greedy fucking assholes, and I hate that. I have made my stance very clear. The way they treat refugees is horrendous. The whole greedy aspect of everything in and related to Ul'dah is awful. Meanwhile, Lim Zolominsa, so far we have learned, has explicitly violated treaties with the kobolds and basically invaded kobold land. So they're not exactly off to a great start in my books. Gridania is the least bad purely because their only conflicts are self-defense against the Ixal, who are, according to what we've been told, explicitly attacking them without apparent cause. And then the Sylphs, who they appear to have a peace with. Gridania is somehow the least bad. Gridania still sucks, don't get me wrong. There's some really bad issues with racism in all the city-states, really. Speaking of, when I was listening back to the previous main story episode where I talked a little bit about how the game tries to get into themes about racism especially, and it frequently falls on its face, but it also does try. There's some very obvious ways in which it already has fallen on its face, namely, the fact that a lot of the racism is against non-human tribes. So if you're making an analogy to real life, you can see the issue there, I would hope. Thankfully, it does not exclusively do that bullshit. And that is only an issue if you think they are deliberately making a commentary on real-world politics, which is a matter of personal interpretation, honestly. People more educated than me might be able to find that they are in fact trying to make a deliberate commentary. People who are more educated than me might disagree and say you can make comparisons, but it's not clearly deliberate. But there is definitely an icky aspect there. Also, I cut several things that I said which were not, I don't want to believe are explicitly bad, but were definitely indicative of my own biases, which I need to work on unlearning and stop being shitty about. Which, okay, yeah, not great. Obviously, I'm going to downplay it a little bit, but I don't think I was bad about anything, just clearly I've got work to do, as does basically every other white person or privileged person. Listen, I'm going to be actively trying to engage with the politics of this game and the way that those politics reflect on real life. If you have an issue with that, again, this might not be the series for you. I think it's a very worthwhile thing to try and actively engage with, especially since the game does go so far out of its way as we get further and further in to just be more and more explicit about what it's trying to talk about. Anyways, on to Gridania. We're basically already there, so I might as well not even cut this out. Took some good time to actually talk about relevant things, so I'm not too upset about that. At least we spent the trip doing something productive. Okay, so our destination is to reach the Adder's Nest, where the twin adders are stationed, and that is going to be just west of the Aetheryte Plaza. Not too much further off, thankfully. It is this big building right over here. Alright, personnel officer, I have come to join you. You are come to the Adder's Nest, headquarters of the Order of the Twin Adder. Ever do we welcome they who would toll in the elemental's name for the good of our forest nation. Alright, my name is Satori Lanzi. I believe you're expecting me. I don't want to sound too eager. to join, because honestly, I have issues, but... Ah, the great adventurer herself! Yes, our recruitment officer sent word that you were on your way. It is a pleasure and an honor both to welcome you to our ranks, friend. Now let me gather together the relevant documentation. Sir! What is it? Report. An urgent message from Amarase Spire, sir. A Highwind Skyways airship has taken fire from Imperial forces in the skies over the East Shroud. The vessel's engines were crippled, sir, and it was forced to make an emergency landing southeast of Nine Ivies. Nine Ivies? God, this could not have come at a worse time. All but a handful of our forces are presently afield dealing with the XIV. Satora, I know full well you have yet to be formally inducted into our ranks, but we have urgent need of your aid. In all likelihood, the airship was bearing civilians, and if the reports are accurate, it will come down dangerously close to Garlean-occupied territory. Please make all haste to the area southeast of Nine Ivies, locate the airship, and ascertain the status of the passengers. Regardless of which of the three grand companies you choose, and I will not be showing all three routes, because it's basically the same. But regardless of which of the three grand companies you choose, the exact same Highwind Skyways airship will come down in the local area. In our case, since we're Order of the Twin Adder in Gridania, it came down in the Black Shroud. But if we were to join the Maelstrom in Limsa, it would come down in Lenosia, and if we were to join the Immortal Flames in Old Da, it would come down in Thanalin. Alright, on to Sweet Bloom Pier. And we are going to need to sprint all the way over there. Let's see, our destination. Past the Hawthorne Hut, down to the very southeast, right up against the Garlean's Castrum. Oh, that is bad. Alright then, I will meet you at the Hawthorne Hut and we'll go from there. Alright, made our way over to the Hawthorne Hut, so it's not too much further to get to our destination. We just gotta get past the Nine Ivies and Amarase's Spire. We could rent a chocobo, but too much money. And we're not too far off. We are playing as Thaumaturge today, as you have likely noticed. Everything else is at least level 21, so felt right to give the experience to Thaumaturge. And we are, I believe, doing a double quest today. We're going to be doing 2 main scenario quests in total. Both this one and the follow-up. Hello there, Overgrown Ivy. I'm going to go ahead and leave you be. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. And there's the airship. Alright, crew, let's get you out to safety. Fine, I'll take care of the gnats first. Alright, cleared out the gnats. I did have to back away a little bit, but we're good. Hello there, familiar face. Not to anyone who hasn't played this before, but it's a familiar face to me. An adventure? What are you doing out here? No, wait, let's find some cover first. The Adder's Nest sent you? How do I know you're not an Imperial spy? You don't even have a uniform. Listen, I know I look creepy with a mask, but trust me. I just haven't got the paperwork filed. Peace, friend, we mean you no harm. You are an engineer of Garland Ironworks, are you not? We were alerted to your plight and have come to rescue you. And you are Sator Lanzi, I presume. I was told to expect an honorary serpent. My thanks for your aid, friend. I've never seen a craft of this design. It must be Garland's work. Is there no end to the man's treachery? The secrets of Magitech belong in Imperial hands. They are not to be squandered on Eorzean savages. We are taking this craft back to the fortress. Dismantle it if you must. And bring the engineer. Someone must pay for Garland's crimes. Imperial scouts from Castrum Oriens. They mean to requisition the ship. Wedge, you have to help him. That fool of a Lalafell is hiding inside the tiny Bronco. The tiny Bronco? But isn't that the Ironworks' latest creation? It's the first airship we've built since the Calamity. The first since Master Garland, well, since he went missing. After years of work, she was finally ready for her first test flight, and she was soaring, she really was, till those bastards blasted her out of the sky. Attend me, all. The Ironworks' latest creation must not fall into Garlean hands. We shall strike them swift and sure and rescue Engineer Wedge. Satora, I trust we can rely on your support. Of course you can. May the matron watch over us, with me. An ambush! To arms! Well, if the Lalafell is named Wedge, then the Rogadine must be. If you're familiar with Final Fantasy, you can probably guess, but we'll get to know them both very shortly. Alright, we've got a whole bunch of Imperials to deal with. We'll deal with the Lancer first, then the Mage. Okay, I feel like I should probably back away from the rest of the crew so that we're not getting slaughtered by them. We'll go for the Decurion last, since you are likely going to be their tank. You look like you're based on Gladiator or Paladin, so... Archers are next. Oh, there's another Lancer over there. Don't mind if I do. Okay, and then on to the Decurion. We have got this in the bag. God, we are right next to Castrum Oriens, though. That has me really uncomfortable. Oh, crap. And we've got backup incoming. Just what we needed. Including a Magitech machine. Oh, we're in trouble. No, not the Serpent. Okay, crap, this is bad. This is turning really bad. They brought in the Magitech armor. So, Garleans. We have seen a few cutscenes involving them, but this is our first real time really encountering them in combat. They are, as the earlier cutscenes have established, an invading force which tried to take on Eorzea 5 years prior. They're the ones who brought down the moon Dalamud and caused the Calamity. They do not have, well, generally, native Garleans do not have the capability to use magic, so they rely very heavily on machines like Magitech armor instead. Turns out these machines are quite deadly, which gives them a huge advantage over Eorzeans, so we may be in trouble here, oh god! Okay, keep it going. We are doing well. What are you doing? No, you're not hitting me. Ah, crap, out of MP again. You have got to knock that off. Oh no. And I did not get out of the way in time. I'm gonna have to be way more on top of it for this fight. Because that Vanguard's attacks go off in a hurry. You're about to attack again. You're not going after me, though. Where are you sprinting around to? Why are you sprinting? There we go. Biggs! Wedge, you shouldn't have stayed with the ship. That was a close one. Too damn close. So how's she look anyway? The auxiliary propeller is a dead loss, but I think we can wring enough thrust from the main propeller to get us airborne. A few minor modifications and we should be able to fly the tiny Bronco home. While you do your work, we shall keep a watch over the perimeter. The enemy may yet be lurking nearby. As for you, Satora, you have more than done your part today. I bid you return to the Adder's Nest and complete your enlistment. I pray there will be no further interruptions. When next we meet, let us be as fellow serpents of the Order. I just wanted to say sorry, for calling you an Imperial spy and all that. Got that one wrong, didn't I? Seriously though, if it hadn't been for you and the twin Adder lads there, we'd be chained up in a dungeon by now. I'm in your debt, friend. We both are. Wedge! Thank you. We're really great. We're very grateful. So, Biggs and Wedge, a classic of the Final Fantasy series, often associated with the mechanic Sid Garlond, or he will take various last names in various games, but always named Sid. Biggs and Wedge are basically a reference to the Star Wars series, where Biggs and Wedge were the name of minor characters. And so they tend to appear in a good number of the Final Fantasy games in homage. And those were our Final Fantasy XIV iterations of Biggs and Wedge. I hope we'll be getting to know them more as time goes on. Alright then, back to the Adder's Nest. Alright, I return. Turns out Biggs and Wedge from Garland Ironworks were the ones who crashed down, so good thing we got to them in time. And of course, we will be learning more about them as time goes on. Satora, it does my spirit well to see you returned. Word arrived but moments ago from the team at Nine Ivies. Lest you worry, the two engineers are safely on their way. The lieutenant informs me that you were instrumental in the mission's success. Had you not found Engineer Biggs when you did and helped us rout the Garleans, things might have been very different. Also, apparently it is pronounced lieutenant, not lieutenant. I can't tell if that's like a regional thing, but whenever I hear it voiced, it tends to be lieutenant. And that annoys me. There's no F in there. And all this before you were even inducted into the Order. You are well on your way to carving out a fine career for yourself beneath the Twin Adder standard. But without further ado, let us see to your induction. 12 willing, there won't be any further interruptions. Alright, let's join the Twin Adder officially. Also, we got Dai for that, nice. The personnel officer stands ready to complete your induction into the ranks. Protocol requires that I apprise you of who we are and what we do, after which I will invite you to swear an oath of your own free will. Ahem. The Order of the Twin Adder is the Grand Company of Gridania. It brings together the martial, economic, and technological resources of our nation that we might stand strong in times of direst adversity, when our very survival hangs in the balance. Our order was formed in the days before the Calamity in readiness to fight the Garlean Empire, and to combat the beast tribes and their primals. Needless to say, our struggle continues to this day. Elder Seer Khan Isena is the supreme commander of our forces. Under her wise leadership, we protect the people of Gridania and the sanctity of the Twelveswood. As the entwined serpents that grace our standard, let Forestborn strive as one with friends from afar to ensure that peace shall ever reign in Gridania. In doing so, we honor the will of the elementals, and theirs is the will of the wood. Now then, Satora Lansi, I ask that you give unto us your oath of allegiance, in whatever fashion you see fit. Oh my god, no, no. Wood's will be done. So you know the words of our grand company, that is well. Bound by this common belief, let us strive to preserve all that is good in this great nation. By the power vested in me, I assign you the rank of Serpent Private 3rd Class. You are now a woman of the Order of the Twin Adder. Go forth, Private Lancy, and do that which brings peace to the Twelveswood and honor to our name. Can you hear me, Satora? This is Minfilia. An officer of the Order of the Twin Adder contacted me with news of your enlistment. My congratulations, Private Lancy. I have no doubt that you are eager to make the acquaintance of your new comrades, but I would ask that you pay a visit to your old ones first. Remember, though you are now a Serpent of Gridania, you are no less a Scion. Pray return to the Waking Sands at your earliest convenience. There are some friends here whom I would very much like you to meet. We shall be waiting. The distant call of a friend in need, perhaps? As you are needed elsewhere, I shall not keep you any longer. I would, however, suggest speaking with High Serpent Commander Vorsail Huloi before you depart. He may provide you with assistance on the journey ahead. Alright then, let's see what you've got for us before we go. You may now accept the quest My Little Chocobo Twin Adder by speaking with Vorsail Huloi. This quest must be completed in order to proceed to the end of the main scenario for A Realm Reborn. That quest, we will do that actually this coming Sunday. That will be our next side questing episode, is that specifically. Because that is a really good feature. So Grand Companies, you are now a member of a Grand Company and have been assigned the rank of Private 3rd Class. Your Grand Company and rank can be confirmed at any time under the Profile tab in the Character interface under Character in the main menu. Grand Companies pay their members not in guild but in company seals. You can confirm how many seals are currently in your possession under the currency in the main menu. Seals can be earned by completing various Grand Company missions. A Grand Company Quartermaster is stationed at each Grand Company headquarters and will exchange items for company seals. Company seals are only redeemable with the Grand Company that issued them. Next up, supply and provisioning missions. The Grand Companies of Eorzea are in constant need of supplies and provisions to maintain their daily operations. Adventurers can earn experience points and company seals by crafting or gathering the items required and delivering them. Speak to a Grand Company personnel officer or one of the many officers stationed throughout the realm to complete the delivery. Items sought change every day Earth time. They can be confirmed by selecting timers located under Duty in the main menu. Alright, let's take a quick look at that just for a moment before we head back. Looking at our mission, we have... Really? It resets in 2.5 hours? Okay. But the current supply missions, we need to supply El Maquahitos, Iron Chocobos tail saws, steel skillets, Sphene bracelets, goatskin chokers, velveteen dress gloves, high potions, and spinach sauté for the supplies, which are crafting basically, and for gathering siltstone, wizard eggplant, and desert catfish. So this is just an additional way to get experience for your crafters and gatherers. Supply materials to the Grand Company that you're a part of. They'll give you bonuses. Other thing real quick is earning the seals. The seals, we can have up to 10,000 right now is our limit. How do we actually go about earning them though? There's a few ways. Completing any mission for the Grand Company you're a part of will do. But there is also a hunting log, a set of 3 hunting logs for each Grand Company. And completing entries on that hunting log won't necessarily grant experience and money, but will grant seals. I mean, we'll get experience from just fighting the enemies, but yeah. Point is, as we proceed, we're going to want to be clearing out a lot of these, trying to fill in our hunting log for the Twin Adder, and maybe eventually the other 2 Grand Companies as well if we decide to switch. And that'll give us some seals, which will slowly build up our supply, and let us buy some valuable goods. And we are going to need a few seals in order to actually beat the Realm Reborn, because we need a few to do My Little Chocobo. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's head back to Vesper Bay. Seriously, I'm so excited for the quest, My Little Chocobo. You can probably guess what we're going to be unlocking from that quest. It's a good one. Alright, anyways, back in Vesper Bay. Ooh, we hit Thaumaturge 21. We can now equip the cotton dress gloves, so that's very nice. Let's head on into the Waking Sands and meet up with Minfilia to meet these friends. Hello there, Ida and Papa Limo. What are you two doing over here? Let me see if I have this right. You're an adventurer who's a scion and a serpent? Golly, how do you keep track of everything? It must be fun pairing up with lots of different people, though. Me? I'm always with Papa Limo. Come to think of it, why am I always with Papa Limo? And Papa Limo. Following the Calamity, each nation's armed forces underwent large-scale restructuring centered upon its grand company. In Gridania, the Order of the Twin Adder absorbed both the Wood Whalers and the God's Quiver, while the Luminsons enacted the complete merger of the Maelstrom and the Knights of the Barracuda. Ul'dah is the odd nation out, having made no notable changes to its armed forces. As before, and in the spirit of the Sultanate, each entity retains a certain degree of independence. I can't actually confirm this, but I get the feeling that whichever Grand Company you join, the associated scions will be the ones who appear over there. So, we join the Adders, the Twin Adders, so Ida and Papa Limo, who are the Gridania starting scions. I'm going to take a guess and say that probably if we had joined the Maelstrom, we would have gotten Y'shtola, and if we had joined the Immortal Flames, we probably would have gotten Thancred is my guess. There's a few new things over here in the side area, the main room, I guess, for the Scions. We've got Y'shtola speaking to Urianger. We'll continue to focus our efforts on investigating the Primals. The Amalja are not the only tribe that has succeeded in summoning its deity. Fate shall be thy guide. When our purposes become one, once again shall our paths lead us here. Our city of learning is now naught but shadows. Ere the light of dawn breaketh, shall we follow whither the sand blows. Urianger, why must you be so cryptic? I have my theories. I love Urianger. Hey, ain't you that lass who rode that boat into Limsa Lominsa with me? It is you, ain't it? Ha! Glad to see you found a good home. What am I doing here? Well, I heard tell one of my brothers came through not long ago. Looks like I just missed him, though. I did see your brother here. I ain't seen either one of them since the Calamity. Didn't even know if they were still alive. But after running into folk who swore they knew me time and again, I reckon they had to be out there somewhere. I've been traveling and peddling in hopes that I'd find me brothers ever since. If you see a fellow what looks like me, let him know that Brennan's looking for him, would ya? Will do. Alright, anything new from these scions? Let's start with Leovin. Have we met somewhere before? You must be quite the accomplished adventurer to be welcomed into these halls. Me? No one's ever expected much of me. And so far I've done a fine excuse me. Fine job of living down to their expectations. I feel like I have seen you somewhere before, but I don't quite recall. If anywhere, I feel like it would have been during... probably would have been during the tutorial dungeons. I've been chatting with Persevanes, and we both swear there was another member of our crew. We still ain't figured out a way to prove who he was, but just you wait and see. It won't be long before everybody sees us for the heroes we is. Yeah, they're probably referring to the Warriors of Light who no one can remember anymore post-Calamity. I'm not sure I grasp the purpose of these remembrance ceremonies. Whether you remember or rewrite the past, what does it matter? It isn't as though you can repeat it. Our present-day enemies ought to serve as sufficient motivation, don't you think? The only lesson I believe we should take from the Calamity is that far greater threats can and will appear. I mean, that's fair to have that perspective, but I do think it's valuable to at least learn from the past. I hear you pledged yourself to a grand company. Me? I don't think I could do it. I never feel like one of them, no matter what the recruiters say. Arnvald, you seem to have a lot of personal issues. I hope you can work through them. We've got a supplier and a mender over here in case we need to buy supplies or mend armor, so that's nice. And enough stalling. Oh wait, no, there's Sangrid. We gotta stall one more person. The incident with the traitor still weighs heavily on everyone's minds, the Flame Generals most of all. And although he cannot be expected to know what evil lurks in the hearts of every man under his command, the revelation is nevertheless a devastating blow to his authority. Even so, it warrants saying that you should not let this tragedy color your opinion of the man. In all my years working with the Flame General, I've never had reason to doubt his capacity to lead. Yeah, unfortunately, in big organizations, it's sometimes really easy for bad actors to slip in and do harm. You can't keep track of everyone, you can just be alert and see what you do catch. Welcome back, Satora. Lady Minfilia awaits you within. Well then, let's go see her and get some serpent seals. Well, that's convenient. Welcome back. It seems you've wasted no time in putting your skills to work. How do I know? Why, the recruitment officer called to regale me with a tale of your heroics. The pride in his voice was palpable. We Scions are truly fortunate to have you with us, Satora. Now, when last we spoke, I said that I wanted you to meet some friends, did I not? Well, I neglected to mention that you have already met. Satoru, please show them in. This way, sirs. Thanks again for getting us out of that mess. We owe you our lives. But I don't think we've properly introduced ourselves. I'm Biggs. And I'm... Gods, man, spit it out, will you? Wedge, at your service. I am pleased to say that Biggs and Wedge will be staying with us for a while. Magitech-driven contraptions such as airships grow ever more vital to the city-states of Eorzea. As a neutral party, it was judged that we Scions should serve as the keepers of this technology. Fair enough. Of course, for this we needed the knowledge of experts, and so we requested the assistance of Garland Ironworks, who very kindly sent us 2 of their finest engineers. Our happy family continues to grow. On behalf of the Scions, I bid you welcome to the Waking Sands. Like every soul here, I love Eorzea, and I count myself blessed to have been given this chance to stand with you all and fight for the future of the realm. Never have I known such fulfillment, such happiness. And there we are. We have joined a grand company, and it is time to take on our next mission with the Scions, which we will be doing next time, of course. I'll see everyone next time for some self-management.